Paul O'Kane, you're an American over here competing in Hero ERA events, regularity rallying at its best. How would you describe to your fellow Americans what goes on over here in Europe?
Well, what the events I've competed in so far, Scottish Malts, Per Ardua, Summer Trial, all Hero events, and I'm here now for the RAC Rally of the Test, the biggie. The quality of the event and the way the event is put together with difficult regularity stages and test sections, it's very challenging, and I really enjoy it, and I keep coming back for more, and I hope that this event I'm doing at the moment is really successful.
So how could the way Hero ERA events happen over here with regularities and tests, as you say, how could that translate into the United States of America rallying?
I think it could be a really big addition to the American rally scene, because we really don't have anything other than some stage rallying that's not as widespread through the United States as it really should be. It is a difficult country to get to events because of the wide distance we have to travel. But I think for people in the age group that I'm in, who are gearheads and really into rallying or might want to get into rallying, I think the quality of the events and the quality of the places that we stay and the food that we eat really makes for an all-round amazing event, and that's why I keep coming back for more.
Tell us about the sort of cars you compete against in Europe.
Well, there's such an array, from Volvo Amazons to MGBs, Lancias, Alfa Romeos. I have a Mercedes 280 SLC, and in this event I'm using a Volkswagen MK1 Golf. There's a number of Golfs and such a widespread choices from all over the car world.
What sort of cars do you think your compatriots would use in events in the States if Hero are putting them on?
Possibly muscle cars, from the 70s, maybe even 60s. I've seen guys here even with Mustangs, in the 60s Mustangs, and why not a Corvette? Or maybe even a big sedan. But there's definitely cool cars over there that could work into these events for sure.
To put it into context, a regularity, a section of road, remote road necessarily, where you have to keep to average speeds, might sound boring, but tell people why it's not.
It's so much more challenging than regular stage rallies where you're just flat out. The time to distance and the difficulties that come about with the time that you're stopped at a checkpoint with the marshals, and then having to make up that time, and then maybe on these events specifically, like running into a farmer running down the lane, and you name it, I've seen it. It's cows in the road. It's just wild, and it's so crazy fun.
But you don't know where the controls are, do you? Your navigator's telling you to keep to an average speed, but you don't know where the control is, and you need to hit that control on 0, right?
Yep, come in at a few seconds close to what we think we might possibly think we know that there's a control, and hope that we hit it on the second, and it's plus or minus, and sometimes it's not even close, but it's brilliant.
So it's far from boring.
No boring at all. It's just it's hard to explain how confusing it can be, but just an amazing.
So then you have a test where you have to follow a particular course but go as fast as you can. And to point out, it could be on a race circuit, yes?
Yeah, we've been on a number of race circuits, even karting circuits. Nigel Mansell's circuit was part of one of the events I did. It's flat out. It's really, a really difficult test. And you don't want to hit a cone, and you want to make sure you don't whack a wall or something like I did up in the Scottish Malts. It's just really, really challenging and so much fun.
And a test could take you off-road onto a track, and suddenly you're going through farm buildings.
Yes, seen it numerous times, or potato fields, or who knows what it could be. But the challenge to the farm yards is really tricky and really slippery, and you know what goes on in farmyards, so it's a mess.
Well, I should remind you, Paul, that we were filming you going backwards and forwards in a certain farmyard.
Yes, you were. I don't know, we came in sideways, backwards, we didn't know where the hell we were going, but we finally figured it out.
Well, let's talk very specifically about Hero ERA putting on the TransAmerica rally in 2023, which is going to be a mixture of what you said, regularities, tests, and an epic journey coast to coast in the States. How would you interpret that and tell your fellow Americans, have a look at this, you might like it?
Yeah, the route that's been chosen is quite brilliant, and from starting in Houston and ending in San Francisco, but all the places and the trajectory in between, all the way up to the north of America and on the Canadian border, the places that the cars will go and the challenges that will happen up there and the beautiful scenery will make for such an epic event. And I think people should really think about getting involved in it.
So you'd be a long way from anywhere. You're in the wilds, and a lot of it is on the loose.
Yeah, and who knows, the wide open spaces of America and the roads that are up and around where the rally's heading, the challenges could be incredible.
So you'd recommend TransAmerica to your chums in the States?
Oh, definitely. I'm talking to a guy in Houston right now about him competing in it. I'm going to talk with him tomorrow and hopefully get him on board, but it's going to be cool.